Greetings and welcome to this episode of Geeks First. Holy moly, we have a lot of things to talk about. We're going to jump right in. This may even be a two-parter. All that and more right now. Hey, greetings and welcome to Geeks First. Yeah, so this is actually a reshoot of the intro because I was out of focus. It's mostly because I'm a little sick, and I forgot one key important item, which was to switch the camera's lens from manual focus to autofocus. Why is that a problem? Well, I didn't think you want to stare at me out of focus the whole time. But you're going to anyways, because I have a lot of footage, and we're going to splice a lot more B-roll in instead. But I was preparing for the eclipse that's happening in, April 8th. So it's coming up in like a week or two. And I was pointing my camera at the sun, and, well, you don't want autofocus when you're doing that. Oops. Sorry. So, yeah. Enjoy.
A few moments later.
I haven't used a fade-in a while. I might as well. Yeah! Alright, so the first thing we're going to talk about is Protour LA. And at Protour LA, they have done an initial reveal of some information on Part the Mistveil. Now, Part the Mistveil is a set that is coming up in Flesh and Blood. It'll be the 13th set, from what I understand. And there was a gentleman, big shout out to Rittenhouse Games, Tyler Broughton, who posted several screenshots up on Twitter. Now, I'm going to go ahead and share those right here for editing, Jacob. So we have a product roadmap for 2024, and we already kind of had some bits of information, and we knew that there were going to be 3 sets. Somebody had mentioned that there were going to be a total of, I believe it was 11 products for 12 months, so one product pretty much every month of the year, give or take, is kind of what they had said. And we already knew that February was heavy hitters, and there's a gap in March and April, but then we have in May an Armory deck, which is the very first reveal. It says KO there. We have a screenshot of that, which we'll throw up just now. Then in June, we have Part the Mistveil, and then July is another Armory deck. August, which is Gen Con. Oh yeah, Gen Con, one of the biggest events, best 4 days in gaming. I am very excited to see that that LSS is going to be there. I actually submitted for a unofficial Flesh and Blood meetup. I think I'm going to cancel that request now that I think that they're actually going to be there. There's really no sense in me doing it. My goal was just originally to like try and have some small scale, like, you know, hey, I'm going to teach people how to play or something, because I didn't really know if they were actually going to show up, because last year they were not there. But they're going to be introducing a new player. It's called First Strike decks. Okay, wow, what is that, right? Like, they have First Strike. Okay, so does that mean they go first? No, I'm just kidding. No, that probably is going to be a whole new product line of onboarding people, right? We have the Blitz decks. You got, now we have CC decks, First Strike decks. I mean, that sounds kind of like the Magic the Gathering version of, like, you know, the Learn to Play, or like Pokemon has the 2 that start, you know, my first playing, you know, type of event. I'll be curious to see what those are. I have a lot of thoughts, a lot of comments on that. But anyways, that's for a later part of the video. All right, so then we have a Blitz deck. It's called Hot Takes, and it says New Blitz Decks Collections. There's a configuration. It's an MSRP of $69.90 USD. Original Blitz decks on configuration for Japan looks like they'll be 1,500 yen per deck. And then there is a Blitz decks releasing in Japan 1 week before the world's premiere as part of the Road to Tokyo event. So that is actually pretty sweet. They did actually post some information. It is another document here. It is Flesh and Blood Booster Set, Part the Mistveil, Blitz Deck Collection, and inside it, it looks to be very similar to the LSS TCC. This box has seen some love. I'm just telling you, like, it has held up really well for all the crap I have put this through. I take this everywhere. It's in my trunk of my car. I've had it in a backpack. I've had it on a plane. Granted, I've discovered that it does not like putting tape. Like, I originally used tape to hold this thing together. But honestly, for every bit of you know, wear on this, it's great. Like, honestly, it's excellent. I am very shocked at how well this is held together. It looks like crap, but it works. It has protected the cards. And that is the point of a card box, ladies and gentlemen. That is the point. This is a ready-to-play out-of-the-box Blitz deck. Now, this is what's interesting here is this product will contain all 3 of the Blitz decks, which is the 3 heroes they revealed. We'll talk about those in a second. So it's New, Igma, and Zen. And then those will be inside of this box, as well as it looks like you're going to get not only the reusable box, they call it the Mist Cloak Gully-themed storage box. And they say it's perfect for new players in their journey of Flesh and Blood. But what's interesting is that not only do you get these, but you get several booster packs inside of this actual product itself. So you get the 3 Blitz decks, you get 3 Part the Mistveil booster packs, which gives you some variety, right? So now if product does become hard to find, or if there is a chase card, right, there is now a sealed premium, theoretically, on this this intro piece. But what's unique, right, is they released the heavy hitters. So unlike how they did the Outsiders or Heavy Hitters, where you had a small box of just the 6 Blitz decks, now it looks like they're going to have the Blitz decks inside of the larger box containing that plus the 3 booster packs. Now, what they don't specify, and one of the biggest complaints people have had, I'm curious if they will change, is the size of the Blitz box itself. Now, part of me really wants to just keep it the same so it's universal, so if I throw all these things up on a shelf somewhere, over time they're all going to match. But there is an improvement factor here that could mean that they actually might make the boxes where they're bigger, like something similar to shout out to Star Wars Unlimited here, how they had the box larger, thicker. You'll notice that, like in this case, obviously it's a 60 card deck for that. It's a little bit different, but the thickness of the box would allow for cards and sleeves. You couldn't really put cards and sleeves in that, so maybe they went down that route with it. I'm not sure. We'll just know when we get it. So we're definitely going to purchase one of those products, and we're going to have that for us to review, hopefully, and we'll get that looked at and just obviously talk about all the interesting things. I don't know. This one will obviously, it'll have a playmat, right? So in my head, the way that they structured the setup for the LSS TCC, UPF kit, the playmat was rolled on top and the decks were laid vertically in the bottom. So I don't think there's going to be much room for the additional thickness of boxes unless they like break those cardboard things down inside, put the cards there, and then you pop the stuff together. A pipe dream, it's a wish. I don't know. It's a thought, but we'll see where it goes. So that is that particular piece. Next up, we have the Armory deck KO. It says May 3rd, 2024. So that'll be coming soon. And I like the way it looks. It's still weird to me. I don't know if they've chosen to do this diagonal line on this this product to make it stand out. I'm not really understanding if it's going to be like a 3-dimensional box where there's like some cool, like, look at me, I'm awesome display kind of thing, or if it's just a prototype photo and they just do it to show the side. Either way, I think it'll be really neat, but I would be curious to see if they've picked some unique design for this that makes stacking them a little bit weird, especially maybe looking into even like the shipping component. But I think the idea here is they're not really caring as much about the shipping piece because really these are supposed to be sold by the LGS to people. I don't even know if anybody outside of an LGS that hosts armies are going to be able to get these, because they did originally talk in another slide back at Gamma where they were saying that these were going to be limited supply and locked to stores, at least it seemed like, that were doing the more Armory participate to basically, again, build the community. I still think it's great overall. But this is cool. It's KO. It's recent. He comes, obviously from the heavy hitters, so it lines up with that. It'll be intriguing because now this will be kind of the first advent of a new CC deck. They call this the Armory level, right? So these are Armory CC decks. They're going to be competitive. I really want to get the deck list. We'll definitely check it out and see how it goes. So one of the other slides that was shown was booster hot takes. It's going to be 3 heroes, 1 new talent, 239 cards in set, English, French, German, Italian, Japanese, Spanish. So that is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 supported languages. MSRP of $109.99 or 13,200 yen, or JPY. I believe that is yen. It looks like there will be release promos. Iconic. It says 8 iconic rainbow foil legendaries instants from MST available at eligible stores. Well, 8 iconic rainbow foil legendary instants from MST. What does that mean? Legendary instants? Like, okay, does that mean that like maybe there's some cool thing? That has me thinking, right? Like that's almost like that's a mechanic giveaway that they're hoping somebody bites onto. So I don't know. Does that mean that there is legendary? So, the word legendary would be like a singular card type, in my opinion. Now, there's legendary, the rarity, but you could have like, in a deck, you can only have one of, and they typically, don't call that legendary. So I don't know. That'll be interesting. But it says instance, right? So legendary instance. What do you think? Next up, we have some things talking about the callings. April 5th to 7th in Phuket. Warsaw, May 10th to 11th. Tokyo, May 17th to the 19th. Minneapolis, I'm assuming June 14th through 16th. Amsterdam, July 25th through the 28th. Tampa Bay, September 6th through the 8th. That is the world premiere for set 14. Sydney, September 20th through the 22nd. Lyon, September 27th through the 29th. Portland, I'm assuming Portland, Oregon, November 22nd to 24th. And the one closest to me that I should be able to drive to is in December, which is 13th through the 14th of December. So that's awesome. There's a wide range and variety. Should be able to get to some of those throughout the year. So it's nice to see that they're both in and out of the U.S. All right, cut here. Now, I'm not going to make you watch the video with me, but I will put a link to it right here because, honestly, the Part the Mistveil trailer, which released on March 21st, has over 10,000 views at the time of recording, and today is only, I believe, not even 24 hours after the release of that video from yesterday when they had the players' reception. I was going to do this video a little bit sooner, but then I said to myself I had to kind of gather a bunch of information. I wanted to read some stuff, take some time to consume a little bit more how this was turning out, and I'm glad I did because I formulated some thoughts as I've done this. For the remainder of this video, how we're going to work on this is we're going to kind of cover a couple of items. I have a couple of tabs that are still open, including the hero reveals, which I said we'll get to, and we'll go ahead and cover that. But we have a first one here, which is the article for Los Angeles Keynotes, located on fabtcg.com. This is where James is standing in front of, it looks like the heavy hitters backdrop, and he's actually got a note card, and he's talking over some bits of information. And that is a majority of some of those slides that I talked about that were spoiled. And again, thank you, shout out to Tyler there, for providing some of those photos of that event. I also saw that it looked like one individual, I believe it might have been Flukenbach's, looked like he tried to live stream it at like a low angle. I didn't watch that one, but I saw that got posted. And then I believe they had their professional crew there recording that front shot, which means you can watch that on YouTube. So there is a link to that. I'll try to throw it in the video description down below. Part the Mistveil, a long-awaited journey into Mysteria has finally taken its first bold step with the thrilling reveal of 3 new heroes. Part the Mistveil features the new Majestic talent as the first Flesh and Blood booster set to launch in the Japanese language. Check out the trailer below. Does it give you goosebumps? Well, it didn't really give me goosebumps, but it gave me a lot of questions because there's a lot of artwork, a lot of things. I can see this chi mechanic that they were talking about. I kind of was somewhat I really hate when people are like, I guessed the thing, I'm right. No, okay, I get it. We're going to make guesses. It's going to be fun. You're going to be wrong 50% of the time. You're going to be right 50% of the time. Just flip a coin. But it's neat that they did incorporate something that truly is kind of like a different resource system, right? Because depending on how this is implemented, it could be that you could draw a card, and in that card itself maybe something where like, hey, the resource on, this is this round on me, so maybe instead of regular resources, it's chi resources, and then those chi resources can only pay for chi cards. So then maybe there's this balancing act of having to like balance chi cards that only interact with a certain ability or how a hero plays it or casts it, something of that effect. It could be very interesting. I mean, the other thing they could do is, right, it could have like a split cost. Maybe it's 2 regular resources and 1 chi. Who knows, like, right? Like, that would be cool to see, like, a mixed, criteria. You have to have some chi and some whatever. I'm sure it's within the realm of this set, so it's draftable, it's all encompassing, but I'm sure that it's within the class, right? So how can chi be leveraged for if you're a ninja using Katsu? I don't know. Maybe you can because there's a bolt-on card or a piece of equipment that leverages it. I'll be interesting to see how that all pans out, but that's my really hot take on chi at this moment. All right, new, the Alluring Desire is a seductive assassin who visits her targets in their dreams, luring them down to the waters to die by a single venomous strike. New uses stealth to keep her prey guessing, hiding fatal attack reactions behind an alluring smile. Well, that's pretty cool. So let's talk about New real quick. New is an assassin hero, so we have a return of assassins. So get those dynasty cards. It looked like Stackswell's already talking about some stuff being bought out. I saw somebody post about all those tigers as well disappearing. But we do see that the stealth mechanic appears on this card, and her ability reads, your attacks with stealth get when this chain link resolves, banish all action cards defending this. At instant speed, 3 chi, look at the top card of opposing hero's deck. If it's blue, you may banish it. Until end of turn, you may play blue cards from that hero's banish zone without paying there, and it specifically shows a resource cost as we would know today. So there's definitely some symbology and some interconnectionness there. So that's pretty cool. Now, this is the Marvel variation that I'm looking at on the screen here, and there is a Japanese version of it. When I pan back and forth, they both look beautiful. Obviously, I can see the desire between maybe people trying to obviously collect these, and it's nice that they have the language icon in the bottom corner. So next up, Enigma, Ledger of Ancestry. A lone illusionist carrying centuries-old talent and traditions within her ancestral tapestry, she is ever-changing mystery like the waxing and waning moon. Enigma uses spectral shields to ward off damage while building up her true form. Another Levia, maybe? Some sort of like Teklovasen kind of thing? Where we're going to have a cool flippy? I don't know. But when we look at the actual ability here, we're going to pull up Enigma here. So Enigma is still a 440 standard. I wouldn't expect any living less. The first spectral shield attack each turn costs 1 resource less to activate. Once per turn instant, 3 chi. Create a spectral shield token with a +1 counter. So obviously some symbology between there or synergy with popping it. I'd seen somebody already post there was a couple of like dynasty cards or one that had like a weapon that by using that and popping this for like 1 you could swing for 6 or something. It seems pretty good. Again, the Japanese card also looks pretty dope. And last but not least, Zen, Tamer of Purpose. A balanced ninja empowered by years of training and discipline, hunting his true purpose by following the winds. Zen uses the art of Crouching Tiger to weave martial arts together in quick succession. I believe this to be a very interesting hero. Like, I'm definitely one of those people that does like ninja in general, but this is a mystic ninja, and the artwork on here is just like hands down amazing. Well, all the artwork is really awesome. I've always been a fan of it, but this reminds me of like Mortal Kombat. It reminds me of like just going to like, I don't know. This would be a cosplay. You got to have some. I mean, I'm sure somebody like built like a shit brick house would be really good at this cosplay. But once per turn instant, 3 chi. Create a Crouching Tiger in your hand. Search your deck for a card with combo. So combo's back. Banish it, then shuffle your library. You may play this. You may play it this turn. So really cool. Obviously, the frame on each of these looks like it's the Mysteria frame. I'm very excited to see what these 3 heroes kind of entail. Some other bits of information that are not necessarily related to the heroes in this first article are the World Championships is actually going to be in Osaka. Now, that's really sweet. I really, really wish I could have gone. I know I can't make that. I still don't have my passport like I probably should, and just honestly, international travel is going to be a little bit out of my budget. But who knows? Maybe I can start a Patreon or something, and one of these days I can get there. But I'll let the other people enjoy that for now and just watch from the sidelines. There's also a really cool show called Shogun. If you haven't seen it, it's on Hulu, and that like ties really good into this, and it is a really good show. I've watched each episode twice, once with the sub and once with the dub, so that way I can kind of get both aspects of it. Wow, is all I can say. There are certain parts of that show I'm just like, this is awesome. So, good show. Highly recommend. Anyways, all right, so we're on to the next piece here where we talked about it just in the early part, but it does talk about more Armory decks are on the way with the second release having in July. August will be a new innovative product for beginners. That's called the First Strike. And, of course, the mysterious 14th Booster set, which is happening in September. So they do talk about the product release. There's actually another part of the products that shows this, and when you scroll down on the page here, you'll see that it says part the Mistveil Blitz decks, and then you have Armory deck KO, Armory deck number 2, First Strike decks in August, and then booster set in 24. So there's more tiles they have released, so that's awesome to see. All right, so now we're going to get into the meat and potatoes, the main article, which is called Part the Mistveil. It actually is the article with the acronym for the 3-letter name of the set, MST. And Part the Mistveil, it looks like there's a blurb at the top here. When you read this, it talks about, it looks like there's some key phrases they might be talking about. So, stalking like a prey, hiding in the water, faces of the moon. So I'm assuming that these are like specialities within that. So there might be some level of design, like this, in this case, the tiger, the snake, and these all seem like they're what's the word? Chronological. What's the name of this stuff? Astrological. There we go. God, that I feel like there's some level of like, lore and astrology stuff that's tied into this, and maybe that's kind of, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Further down, you see the bits of information here. It says Parch the Veil beckons you to venture beyond the veil hanging in the suspension between Mysteria. All right, so further down, this next section talks about the release date, which is May 31st, 2024. Happy early birthday, sis. And on top of that, we're going to look at some of the other items here. It talks about the preview dates are May 11th through the 13th. World premiere is May 17th. The Tokyo Calling is the May 18th through 19th. Pre-release is May 24th through the 27th, with the street release date of May 31st. And it looks like the Playday events are from May 31st to June 2nd. So this will definitely be really interesting. Now, that mysterious thing that they put on their, logo that you saw on Twitter that everybody was freaking out about, including myself, it is called Chi. And it says, empty your mind, let your essence ebb and flow, become with everything, one with nothing, transcend beyond the manifestations of physical, find your inner Chi, find your true self. Part the Mistveil introduces Chi, a new type of resource unique to the mystic talent. Now, what's really funny is I was actually researching literally this same thing because of watching Shogun, the word Chi. And it was like a duh moment. As soon as I saw that this was a thing, there is absolutely no way I could have guessed this. There's no way I would have known that it was in the game of Flesh and Blood. But by researching it just in general, it makes, to me, total sense why they would include this based on the lore aspect or the world part of where Chi kind of comes from. So it's interesting. I'm glad that they did that. Looks like next up they do show the heroes here, talk about the world premiere in Tokyo, the pre-release events, talk about the Playday events, and then also the expansion slot is back in the set. So fantastic. It'll have token in 1 and 15. There'll be 13 cards, so whether that's one per hero type or one per class, maybe a couple, this could obviously fill in anything. The neat thing about the expansion slot, right, is it's going to I think just change up and add little bits of pieces here and there. Honestly, I think every set from now on is going to drop a bombshell, whether that's a reprint, whether that's something we've been looking for, like a legendary, some new card that's hot to seek after. There's going to be so much. Now, what's nice here, it does, I'm going to read this verbatim. It says, in limited expansion, they're removed and kept to the side, which we are all kind of getting used to now, so we know that. Which means that if you do pull a legendary, or you do pull a cold foil, those won't be in your pool of cards. So your pool of cards for even heavy hitters, we had people pull a Marvels, right? They could use them because they were their heroes. It was kind of like a replacement for that. But realistically, if you hit a legendary, you hit something higher, that was not part of your pool. So the games felt more fun and even across the board. So the set configuration. So it looks like the set is MST is the code, 239 total cards, 1 Fabled, 6 Legendaries, 43 Majestics, 54 Rares, 123 Commons, 12 tokens, and 18 Marvels. Now, because there's 12 tokens, we have, I believe, 3 heroes revealed. So with 12 tokens, that leads me to believe that there will probably be additional heroes similar to how we had returning heroes and old heroes. Now, in Outsiders, you had Benji, you had Arachne, you had Katsu, you had Azalea. I would be hard-pressed to think they're going to bring back Katsu again that soon. Could be wrong, but maybe if these are the 3 heroes, that means that there's 3 young, 3 adult. Okay, so that's 6. A token for each weapon, 7, 8, 9, and then I don't know. I'm curious. I don't know. I'd like to think that maybe we're going to get more than just the 3 heroes. We'll find out. Standard 16 cards, 24 per pack forward display. Very standard for us at the moment. It is designed for both the booster draft, sealed, and constructed. They did not bring back, in this case, the Bright Lights Crack Shuffle play. So that might be something we'll see in the future again, but not for this set. Talked about the 6 languages, 110 USD. Celebration promos, it says 8 iconic cards from Part the Mistveil, available in rainbow foil from eligible stores. So that's different wording than the legendary instance. Don't know what that means, but maybe, again, Yeah. Now, something of note, it does say here, Japanese language product is going to have one additional legendary and Marvel. I could only assume that that additional legendary and Marvel might be like the Marvel Katsu or something, or like a Marvel of maybe some legendary that we had, like Mask of Momentum in the past, something that was not originally released but would also tie into the Japanese theme. So then it talks the Blitz Collection Ian. Now, this is the ready-to-play parts that we were talking about. This is the $70 price point. Again, it is a tad strong when you think about you're only getting 3 decks, if that's the case. So for the 3 decks at like $13 a piece or whatever, you're talking, let's call it $40 there. Playmat, $10, $15. So $70 is a tad high for somebody to bite off, especially if you only want maybe one of the decks. But I can see this being good, especially as an onboarding point, right? Because now you have 3 different decks to choose from. You have a couple of packs that you're getting to be able to bolster that up. Now, it does say there's Blitz decks in Japanese this time, and it does say that there's 6 decks per display, which is 2 of each hero, and then 4 displays per case. So it does actually kind of, this solidifies to me that we're not probably going to get additional heroes. It's probably just going to be the 3 heroes, and then in this case, that reminds me much more of like some of the older style where like in Monarch you'd have the 4 and 4 to be 2 of each. So, but these are in Japanese, so cool. All right, next let's look at the product sheet. So the product sheet can reveal some interesting things that we don't typically look at. Now the Park the Veil product sheet looks like it has a couple of pieces of artwork. That iconic one that we see on the box. You see that there's a $1.5 million US Pro Circuit, it looks like that they're talking about here. They do show the pack art. It looks to be a single pack art for everything. I'm assuming these are going to be in paper booster packs, just like we've been getting accustomed to, and does go over the rarity section, the breakdown of the cold foils, commons, tokens, no specific rarity, showcases some of the marvels. Now those are beautiful as well. Gives some interesting dates, and now you have the multiple SKU codes for the different Blitz decks. And then at the bottom it talks about part the Mistveil collection, where you see that the long box exists here, and then we see the 3 decks where it's Enigma, Nu, and Zen on those 3 Blitz decks. They're nice and blue. It actually looks like a really good color combination for how that works. And I'm gonna wrap this video up. I know that's probably a little bit on the longer side, but thank you. And that is all the information I have so far on Part the Mistveil from Los Angeles Protour. So sadly I didn't get to go out there. It looked like a blast. Obviously it being Friday night right now. Hopefully we'll see kind of what comes out. They got some live streams happening of the event going on. So good luck to all the players that are out there, and just enjoy. It looks like the polos are back. So if you're out there and you can get some of those polos, I think there's 3 colors. You got a blue, a pink, and an orange. So I still need to track me down a couple of those personally, so I'm hoping to try to find some of those later in life. But yeah, I look forward to some of the events that are in the U.S., and obviously this set's going to be kind of interesting and exciting. Heavy Hitters was amazing, right? Like that was a mano a mano. Like, you know, I still like the art style, so it'll be real cool to see how the art style is in here. Obviously, Outsiders was fun. Every set. I mean, Bright Lights, obviously being a mech player, wow, that's awesome, right? So. There's other I have so many other videos I want to talk about, and I'm trying to find the right non-lengthy way to go into topics. Like, we have so many games that are out right now. We have so many different choices, and there's so many different things. I have a lot of topics I'd like to talk about, and I think those are all best for another video. So until next time, may your games be fun and your friendships grow. Enjoy. Cheers. I'm going to go watch some of these streams and see how the players are doing in LA. Until next time.